Hello everyone, Lexi here again with my 7th transgendered vlog. Today I am talking about the transgender community. And the reason I put that in air quotes is because I personally don't feel like there is much of a transgendered community. Now, before I get chewed out, let me explain myself. We lack cohesion. Transgender people lack cohesion. The word itself, transgendered, is constantly debated. For example, transgendered is an umbrella term, and underneath that umbrella term, it encapsulates many other terms. Pretty much anything that expresses or means any sort of gender variance. So that could be anywhere from intersexed people who are born with both sexual organs, or transsexuals, to cross-dressers and drag queens, androgyns, gender fluids, genderqueer, all sorts. Now, that poses a problem because if you were to call a gay man who's a drag queen transgender, he would vehemently disagree with you by most counts. He would most transsexuals I've spoken to do identify as transgendered, but most drag queens I've spoken to don't. They identify as male because that's what they are. They aren't confused about their sexuality, they just perform. So that causes a large disconnect between what it means to even be transgendered. And therein lies the problem. I've spoken to some transsexual women who refer to themselves as gay, when by literally every other definition that we have, for transitioning, they're following the path of a transsexual person. They just think they're a gay guy, and they don't like the term transsexual or transgendered. There's nothing really wrong with that. That's, their prerogative to do so. They're just words, labels. But from a political standpoint, it can be a negative thing. The lack of cohesion and the lack of a consensus within the transgendered community makes it difficult for us to make any single push for any particular rights. It makes it easy for people to belittle us and to point to things and examples of other transgender people who don't quite fit the bill but are still technically transgendered and say, well, look, this person doesn't need a surgery, or this person doesn't need to go through hormones, this person just dresses up once in a while and they're fine. But it's different. It can be a very difficult and complex subject. So personally, for me, I identify as transsexual, and I understand that falls under transgendered, but I got it easy in that respect. The category itself of transgendered is extremely dense, and it carries with it not just terms, but a history as well. A history that you can't really ignore. So really, personally, I'm honestly not sure how to fix this. I'm just pointing it out. And that can also make it difficult when trying to make friends within the transgendered community. When I was first coming out, I didn't know any other trans people. And I was desperate to make friends with other trans people. But I quickly found that I don't get along with most trans women. We experience things just like anybody else does, differently, and we react to those experiences differently. I don't get along with a lot of trans women because they just, I don't know, we just don't click. We aren't compatible as friends. And I've had a lot of people talk to me like, oh, they would say things implying that I must be friends with all transsexuals, which makes me laugh. I'm like, well, you're a guy. Are you friends with all guys? Right? No, that's silly. That's absurd to even think of. So, I mean, it's the same. But that poses a problem because it's important to have friends who you know feel the same way that you do. I got lucky because when I came out, another friend of mine ended up coming out. I helped another friend start her transition, and we were friends beforehand, so we kind of transitioned together, and it was awesome, and it still is awesome, and having her in my life is incredible. She's so important to me, and she kind of grounds me, you know what I mean? Like, having that person to bounce ideas and thoughts and worries off of, and knowing that she experiences it the same as me and that we agree fundamentally on most things about transsexuality makes it a lot easier to deal with being transsexual. So I think it's important to find at least one friend. Plenty of trans women have tons of friends in the trans community, but for me, just the one best friend is important. Since then, I've met other trans people and other friends who have come out. So I've made more friends, and I have a few trans friends now, which is just awesome, and I get along with them all very well. So I'm lucky, but even still, with these other friends, there is a fundamental disconnect between my experience and theirs. They're comparable, but ultimately we're different people, and the way we react to these experiences is different, and there's nothing that can really change that. So I guess my point is, if you're transsexual and you're just coming out and you're just trying to discover other people within the trans community, don't get discouraged or disillusioned when you realize that you're not going to share common ground with every trans person you talk to. You will, just like making friends anywhere else, you will find somebody that you click with, and you'll feel really good when you do. So just keep at it. You know, go to Reddit, Trans Reddit, or any other number of large trans communities. My transgendered support group, Transsexual Support and Friend Finding on Facebook that I started. You can check that out and maybe try and strike up some conversations there. There are people out there to talk to, and there's tons of support groups, so just keep trying. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and sorry this was late. Christmas kind of messed up my schedule, but I'll see you next week. Bye.